I'm going to try to take just a few minutes to give you a little sense of what is in store for you and for OurCrowd in the coming year. You're going to be hearing from me and from about 200 other speakers over the course of the next 2 days, and I'm going to do the best I can not to repeat myself and to cover different material. Today is a little bit more of an insider's look, so we'll be talking about some things that we'll certainly not talk about in a more broad public environment. This we will talk about, though. I mean, the bottom line is that the Israeli tech ecosystem just continues to power on. Last year was another record year. You can see this incredible growth over the 5-year period since we started, actually. We started OurCrowd in 2013, and last year breaking the $5 billion threshold was very important. You'll also see a very interesting phenomena, which is still, north of 80% of the dollars invested here are coming from abroad, meaning there is a very healthy Israeli domestic venture capital ecosystem, but of that $5 billion, something like only $800 million was invested by the Israeli funds. This is money coming, like from many of you, and from funds directly into our Israeli companies. Last year was the first year there was an ICO market here. Unfortunately, at OurCrowd, or fortunately, depends on your perspective, we didn't participate, but there already is money being raised here. There were 2 significant ICOs that were 2 of the 10 largest in the world for Bancor and for Sirin. Our growth has been a little more rapid than the other 5-year chart you see. This is how we've done in terms of can you guys please come get seats? There are seats here in the front. OurCrowd people, don't stand back there. Come sit down. Thank you. We're expecting this year to be over $500 million in commitments. That's a good number. Okay, that should be almost 10%, or as the Israeli number will grow, we'll probably have to chase that. But that's a big number in terms of raising commitments and assets for the Israeli asset class. And we're again doubling, or more than doubling, this year, and we're off to an unbelievable start, having done about 20% of that amount in our first month so far. So keep it up, guys. Whatever you're doing, we like it. If you look at this slide, this, I think, will give you a sense on how to understand OurCrowd. I'm not sure you can see it. It's a little bit light there. But basically, I look at our product customer map as a quadrant. And if you look at the customer access, we are appealing now to individual investors, 25,000 of them who are registered on our site. But we also appeal all the way up the food chain to family offices and now institutions. And that's a new thing. Whereas when we started OurCrowd, we were focused really on the individuals, and we continue to focus on individuals. But the institutions and the family offices said, we want in now as well. And so we're offering programs and supporting them. On the product side, we started off with what we call deal-by-deal or company investments. The ability for you to pick a single company and to decide which one you would like to invest from $10,000 on up, and you could build your own portfolio. And that's great and revolutionary and wonderful. But then a bunch of you, as well as the institutions, said, wait a minute, why aren't you offering funds? Why aren't you making it democratic and accessible to get into quality venture capital funds themselves? So we started offering that product line, and we're announcing, I think, around here our 13th fund already. So we've got 12 out there, 13 coming. You'll see dozens and dozens of funds on our platform over the next couple of years. In terms of our organization, I want to make sure you get a sense of how we're structured. We have a very, very broad and talented team. We're up over 140 people running the company together with Andy Kay, our new president, who's a spectacular guy. I hope you get a chance to meet him. Andy, raise your hand in the back there. He's a tall guy, former Navy SEAL, so don't get him upset, okay? But he's the real deal. Speaking of deals, our head of deal flow, Ellie Neer, I think you're in the audience. Ellie, raise your hand if you want to pitch him a deal. By the way, we want very much to get deal flow from our investors. One of the best sources of our deal flow are the companies that you're investing in already, because that's a good filter. So please, be in touch with people like Ellie. Richard Norman's a new addition. Richard, I don't know if you're in this. Oh, you are in the far back there. He's running our fund activity. So if you are interested in creating a fund or from a fund, talk to Richard. Our portfolio management team, which are the guys who handle the investments we made, run by Ron Stern. Is Ron in the audience? Well, someone's got to be with the corporates and the CEOs, so hopefully they're over there. In the investor relations area, you already met Alan Weisletter, who's our MC here. He's running all of our investor relation representatives who are scattered around 10 offices in the world. Our marketing department, which is handling all these emails and Facebook campaigns and whatnot, is run by Liz Cohen. Our business development group, which is really one of the, I think, most interesting parts of our business, where we work with hundreds of multinational corporations who are sitting right next door to us. That's run by Lolly David. Our product and technology group, the guys who not only build the website, but are building mobile apps and a variety of social tools, as well as all of our back office. I mean, if you can imagine what it's like to try to generate the thousands of K1s which we generate. A lot of technology is involved, and that's run by Jeff Schneiderman. Our back office and finance, our CFO, Robbie Citron, over here in the front. If you have any questions about your account, take them to Robbie, and he'll delegate them or handle them himself. And our global operations team, who are now responsible for executing at scale partnerships with major banks and others, is run by the inimitable Josh Wolf. I don't know if Josh is in the house. Here's Josh just walking. And we've got a really phenomenal team, and it's getting better. Anybody you would like to recommend to us to hire, we're going to probably grow our headcount this year to about 180, if I remember the slides from yesterday's advisory board meeting. We're looking for key, good people. Please bring us your friends. If I look at the ecosystem that we've built, it basically includes the crowd, okay, which is run by our investor relations team, the business development, which are the corporations, as well as the crowd building, how we take your knowledge and connections and then deploy them on the behalf of our companies. Our platform includes both the crowd and the tools to manage the crowd, as well as the services that we provide, whether it's accounting and legal. And then on the investment side, we have our deal flow team who are sourcing and diligencing our portfolio companies who we're working with and managing, as well as now our funds. So it's quite an ambitious project we've got going here, but it seems to be working pretty well. We're going to take this, I think, into a Moneyball era. And we're basically looking now, and this is not, I don't think there are too many press in the room, I hope not. We're looking for a head of data science. We want to, as much as possible, play Moneyball. And that doesn't mean that we're going to have algorithmic decisions about what to invest in, but we need signaling. We need a much more data-oriented approach, especially because we're collecting so much data. Having 145 companies in the portfolio, 25,000 partners or members of this community, we can do this in a way that others can't. And you'll see this coming from us, and we'll be essentially scoring and ranking. Stay tuned for more information about this. I want to make some comments about the seed funding environment here in Israel. And as opposed to the US, by the way, where seed funding is actually going up in the recent data I saw from CB Insights, here in Israel, it's been flat to down. The growth, if you look at this chart, and you'll see those blue bars, that's the round amount of money invested in the $20 million and above. So that growth that I showed you before of the dramatic growth from $2 billion to $5 billion invested in the ecosystem, that's largely been driven by the large deals. At the bottom of this slide, you'll see the orange, which represents the seed money. And that's been largely flat. This chart, by the way, which is the most recent I can get, was cut off by the second quarter of last year, but you'll see that there's been no growth. In fact, the data that we got from IVC shows that the seed money year to year from 16 to 17 is down 49%. Now, that's a problem or an opportunity, depending upon how you look at it, and we see it as an opportunity. So there's really a dual theme in terms of our strategy for the coming year. On the one hand, we are going to play a role with bigger and bigger deals. We now have the firepower where we can invest not just a couple of $1 million, but we can invest $5 million, $10 million. I dare say you'll probably see a $20 million raise for a single company on OurCrowd sometime this year. And that's important because really the effort to prepare the company, get it on the platform is the same for a 10, 15, or 20 million as long as you have the active crowd. But on the other hand, you're going to see us making a renewed commitment to the seed investment area, but mostly through our funds. Because it turns out that by investing in seed companies through our funds, we're not just getting sector expertise, such as our fund Medved, which is it's an independent fund run by a spectacular team that we have a very, very large chunk of doing automobile investments. Our own incubated Cure Fund, which does digital health. The new Advantage Fund, which we're announcing at the summit, which is a sports tech fund to go after that. And funds like Cognitive, our AI-oriented fund, which we made an announcement just recently. These are going to be vehicles for doing seed money, and you'll see a lot of that going on at OurCrowd. In addition to that, you'll continue to see us participate in follow-on rounds. One of the things that we're most proud of is that we're not just raising great sums of money for these companies once, but like good venture capital organizations, we continue to follow our bets on the winners, hopefully. And that's really important. And you're seeing a lot of companies now where we're invested not just in 1 or 2 rounds, but in 3, 4, and 5 different rounds, and sometimes increasing our commitment as we go forward. And you'll continue to see that this year. There's several companies coming to the platform right now you'll be hearing from today who are essentially beneficiaries of this, where we're already doing several rounds. We've also launched, just a couple of months ago, our new incubator here in Jerusalem. It's called Labs 02. Another way for us to focus on this seed funding opportunity. What's great about this incubator, among the fact that it's managed by a tremendous team led by Moshe Reines and Stav Erez and a bunch of others, you'll hopefully have a chance to meet them and see them, is that we're essentially being supported hugely by the Israeli government. These numbers are right. There's not a typo there. We're getting 85% leverage in terms of government money, no recourse, on up to 100 investments over the next 10 years. So that's a lot of money, a lot of leverage. We are able to invest $750,000 in that program, with the government covering $650 or 85%. And that's a really, really great program. The 2 first investments in this incubator are C2A, which is a chip-level security company. There's been a lot of talk about chip-level security with the recent malware attacks plaguing Intel and AMD, Spectre and Meltdown. This is coming to a car near you soon. And C2A is focused on chip-level security in the car. It's really cutting edge. It's the first investment of our incubator. We also just are making an investment in Keepers, which is another very hot topic, focusing on cyberbullying and adolescent social media addiction. So you'll be hearing from that. I'm getting some signals. We also are announcing here at the summit, and for those of you who are Israeli investors or foreign Israeli taxpayers, that for the first time you can now invest in OurCrowd via what's called the angel law, which allows you to actually write off as much as 50% of your investment from day one. We've already done this with our first deal. It's huge. Can you imagine being able to write a $100,000 check and take a $50,000 tax write-off from day one? It's a good thing. And we're the first platform to be able to offer that. We're going to be building silos of expertise across a whole variety of sectors. And these are going to be working groups or small communities on our platform in areas such as ag tech and mobility, med tech, and a whole host of others, where we'll be putting together in one group our breadth of the ecosystem, the multinational corporations, our portfolio CEOs, our investors, tech experts, and VCs, to not only source and help us diligence deals, but to help manage them, to provide proper members of advisory boards and other added value. As I mentioned earlier, we are now welcoming institutions and family offices to the crowd. We're busy developing not just products and programs, but we want them actively involved. and there are a lot who are already here with us today, and we want them to feel welcome. This requires us to really up our game and to have better reporting even, and it's a very good thing for the individuals that the institutions are joining as well. You're going to see here the announcement about Connect, which is our new program, which our product and technology group have built, which is allowing our CEOs and our portfolio companies to find you, to basically leverage the power of the crowd. This was used, by the way, to set up 1,000 meetings, 1,000 meetings prior to the summit. If you think this place is crowded, wait till you see tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow we have over 10,000 people registered for the event. We're luckily doing it in the largest venue in Israel, but it's going to be really, really cool. We have taken a new URL, which we have just in case, called OurCrowded.com, but we'll hopefully not need to use that. We are expanding globally so we don't feel so crowded. You'll see that we've now got 10 offices, including in new places such as Hong Kong, London, and Madrid, a renewed focus in Europe and in Asia. We are working with partners all over the globe. You see those stats up there that represent what we've done in terms of money, $650 million of assets aggregated through your great efforts, and I really want to thank you for that support. Our portfolio continues to rock and roll, really good companies across a wide variety of areas, from cybersecurity to ag tech to med tech to others. We have 12 funds and counting, again, set up according to stages, sector, geography, and strategy. You'll be hearing more about that tomorrow. And most importantly, we have already 18 exits and more to come, God willing. So tomorrow, we'll see you at the summit. Please enjoy, eat food, meet people. Make sure you are posting all of these selfies and cool pictures you're taking on the hashtag OCSummit18. That helps us amplify this. And again, thank you very much for attending, from coming from so far, and we look forward to having a wonderful 2 days with you. Thank you very much.